everybody. Welcome to this day 6 of 31 Days of Wisdom. If you don't know, you can listen to this on the podcast and not watch the video. Some of you are on the go like I am and maybe not have time to watch the video, but you can listen to it on the podcast. Just go to proclaimministry.com, click on the podcast button. Also, you can subscribe in iTunes, so it can come to your phone, your Android, your iPhone, your iPod, your whatever you got, your iDevice, they call them. But you can subscribe through iTunes. And if you do not have one of those devices, you can also listen to the podcast through your PC or your Apple, your Mac computer. If all you have to do is download iTunes on your computer, and you can subscribe to the podcast. For more information about that, again, visit proclaimministries.com. So here we go for day 6 of 31 Days of Wisdom. So the text devotion for that day said this: for today, says, God is so amazing, he can teach us lessons from an ant. Proverbs 6, hashtag 31 Days of Wisdom. Now, let me tell you something. I do not like bugs. I wasn't one of those kids that played with bugs or wanted an ant farm. No, thank you. As a matter of fact, I don't like camping because of bugs. I believe this: nature has their home, I have my home, and I don't think the two need to come together. They can stay where they can stay. It's funny because when we moved into this house, it wasn't funny then, but it is now looking back. We had an ant problem. We rented the house and everything got settled in, and then when the fall came, the rain, we had a serious ant problem. I'm talking serious. You know, they were everywhere, coming in out of the cracks. We had to call exterminator, did some special stuff. We tried the stuff ourselves, tried some of everything to get these ants, and finally the exterminator came and got rid of them and has to come back on a regular basis to maintain them. I see an ant, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? But ants are busy. Ants are the opposite of lazy, and I think that's exactly what he was getting here in Proverbs chapter 6, verses 6 through 11. That's going to be our focus today. Please read the whole chapter. There's other things you can learn from it, but I want to focus on just these several verses here, getting our lessons from the ant. Isn't that awesome that God is so amazing, he can teach us lessons from the ant? And I think everything God has created was created for his purpose, for his glory, and he's getting glory even from the ants running around doing what they do. But Solomon says some interesting things here as he teaches his son about learning from the ant. Look at verse 6. He says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in the summer and gathers her food in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man." And so he says here, basically, don't be lazy. Don't be a sluggard, one who just lays around and does nothing. It's interesting because I didn't grow up that way. We didn't have a choice to be lazy. Growing up in my home, I had to learn how to wash the dishes, iron clothes, clean the bathroom, shovel the snow, cut the grass. There wasn't an option. And I think that is actually good. Teaching students, teaching kids early in life to work hard, not to be lazy. Because laziness will come upon you, can overtake you. And think about this year as you begin this new year and considering, are there areas in your life that are lazy? Because here's the reality. If you're undisciplined in one area of your life, it will spill over to other areas of your life. You'll let this go, you let that go, you let this go, because it becomes comfortable. And you can get so lazy, you're not even willing to feed yourself. He says in another passage. He says, and we can make excuses, oh, I'm just tired, I need to rest. But think about how we use our time. What do we use our time for? How often do you sit in front of the TV and just waste hours and hours and hours? And you may say in your mind like, oh, I'll just get up after this last episode. Or I'll just get up after this last show. Or I'll just do this later. We procrastinate. We become lazy. And he says to the ant, look at this ant. The ant, he says, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider ways and be wise. Without having any chief or officer or ruler, she prepares her bread in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. So in other words, even though the ants don't have a queen bee, so to speak, somehow they get things done. They do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. Let me talk to my students for a second. Listen, some of you are struggling at your home because your parents don't give you enough freedom, or they're always nagging you. You know, you feel your mom's nagging you all the time. Well, I'm going to give you a certain tip here, and we can get this from the ant too. Do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. Here's a better clip. Do it before you're supposed to do it. So in other words, if you know when you come home, you're supposed to do the dishes, for example, and do your homework, don't wait till your parents get home and make them ask you, did you do it? Do it ahead of time. Don't wait. If you know what you're supposed to do it when you're supposed to do it. It's called responsibility. And I believe this for most sensible parents, if you show yourself responsible, they will start giving you more responsibility. They'll start trusting you. But the problem is you're not responsible. You wait until they nag you and tell you what you need to do. And then you get mad at them because you didn't do what you're supposed to do, but you should have did it, and they wouldn't be mad, and you wouldn't be mad, and the whole family wouldn't be mad because you did what you're supposed to do, wouldn't be mad. That makes sense? Say, oh, yeah. Honestly, he says the ants, they do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. She prepares her bread in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. Now, I do have a question for the scriptures myself. Now, when you read the scriptures, it's okay to question and wonder why. Why is it said this way? Why is this a woman? Why is wisdom a woman? And why is the ant depicted as a woman? I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting. So she says she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. And then he says a question, how long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? Somehow we believe Saturday is the day we're supposed to sleep in to like noon. And sometimes students, you brag about, well, I slept in till 1. Why? Why is that a bragging thing? I was talking to one kid on Facebook one day, and he was saying, hey, I have a problem sleeping in. I can't get up in the morning. I said, well, how long you stay up at night? Well, I stay up till 1, 2 in the morning. Well, duh. That's the problem. Go to bed. Somebody told me one time, there's nothing good happening after midnight. You're usually getting in trouble. You're doing something you wouldn't normally do after midnight. That's just someone said. I just had to think about it. I'm not saying that's true, but think about that. What are you doing up so late? Get the proper rest so you can do what you need to do during the day. So you're not sluggish. You're not lazy. You're not complaining all the time about, I'm tired in school. Listen, get some proper rest. And I struggle with it too because I stay up late, but I'm an early bird too. I can stay up late and still get up early and have the energy for the day. But the point is this. He's talking to this person who's lazy, who wants to sleep all the time. A little sleep, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber. When you are lazy, when you lazy, you don't go to work, you don't do what you're supposed to do, next thing you know, you're going to be broke. You're going to be poor. And here's the thing, students. Right now, you are at an age where you have a lot of things you're learning. You don't have a job. You don't have a lot of responsibilities. But this is practice for your future life. Because you're going to have to get up one day and get to work. You can't just say, I want to call off today. I'm tired. You do that enough, you won't have a job. So listen, don't wait until you become adult to put those practices in place. Solomon is saying, listen, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Think about this, process it, and apply the principles to your life. Do what you're supposed to do before or when you're supposed to do it in the proper time. There's a time for everything. As Solomon talks about in Ecclesiastes, there's a time for sleep, there's time for rising up, there's a time for crying, there's a time for mourning, time for dancing. There's a time for everything under the sun, but there's a time to work. And I think in this case, he's telling his son and telling us through it, don't be lazy, because if you do, it's going to end up bad for you. Let me recommend the book for you. I'm going to recommend you students to read this book. It is called Do Hard Things. Can you see it there? There it is. Perfect. Do Hard Things. These young men, this is a great book about not waiting till you're an adult to do a lot of things. There's some things you can do right now as a student. You don't have to wait until you're an adult because sometimes you don't have the time as an adult. You may get married, have kids. Do some things now to prepare you for later. I'm not saying you got to go get a full-time job, but think about what are you doing with your time? I was encouraging one guy who loves video games, and that's great. You like video games? Great. But he's staying up all night playing video games. Can't get up and go to church, go to work because he's playing video games. I'm not against that, but find a way to make money playing video games. There's guys who built businesses learning video games. Now they're consultants for video companies because they did it with a purpose. I want you to think outside the box of just normal teenage life, normal college age life. What can you be doing now to prepare you for your future? Don't be lazy. Proverbs 6. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. So maybe you're a sluggard. Maybe you're laying around your parents' house. Maybe you're living in the basement doing, playing video games. Listen, get up, do something with yourself because, listen, there's consequences. We talked about yesterday. There's consequences to your choices because every choice you make choices and your choices make you. Man, I keep seeing that sign somewhere. I don't know where. It just keeps coming to my mind. But anyway, Proverbs 6 through 11. Don't be lazy. God is so amazing. He can even teach us from an ant. Thanks for joining us for this 31 Days of Wisdom. I'm Mr. Brown, and see you next time.